One. Boom! There it is. All right, ladies and gents, let's rock and roll. I got a good one for you guys today. Success is more than just, fancy things. We'll talk about that in a sec. But what happens when you want to give back? How do you do that? Today's guest is going to help us with that. Let's do this. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
Is your business in need of customers? Then you found the right show. Hernan Cias is the business bro, and he makes getting customers fun and easy. Watch, listen, and learn as each episode is designed to sell. Welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. All right, ladies and gents, let's do this. Who do we got on the show today? In business, we often think of the lifestyle. I didn't even turn your fire on, man. Gary, I forgot to turn your fire on. All right, here we go. In business, we often think of lifestyle and what we're working towards, right? The fancy cars, the fancy houses, vacations, and all the little shiny things. But the things that really give us joy is when we help others. There's so many entrepreneurs who are fueled by more than their success. They're here to make a difference. And today's guest is helping those who have a vision and those who are inspired to help others, but maybe need talents and other resources to bring their vision to life. So let's welcome to the show from the Cooperative Opportunity Project, Gary Leon. Oh, Gary, what's up, man? How you feel about that?
What's good, man? How you doing, man? That's a great intro right there.
Good. It got you smiling, right? If it got you smiling, that's it. That's the key right there. Did it work?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
All right, man, let's jump into this. Why? Why is the number one factor that's going to get you up in the morning when it's cold, when you don't feel like doing it, when the work is piled up and there's something that pushes you forward? That why is so important. So that's my first question for you, man.
Why are you doing this?
Because I want to know.
Tell me about yourself.
Well, it's important to give back. I always I come from certain environments that, people, you need more. So I know what it is not to have something. So when I got older and I started my own business, the first thing I wanted to do was actually give back so I could make a bigger impact. So I feel like it's important to do that. So that makes me get up every morning and try to think of new ways to help new people and, try to create a bigger change in this country, especially in underserved communities.
Dude, there's so many people who want to help in organizations, right? Like they have this need, whether it could be anything. It could be, helping little children in impoverished countries. It could be right here at home, helping our own underserved communities. It could be, I want to save the turtles. Like there's so many people who have things that they stand behind. How do you pick one?
Well, there's 4 things I actually try to help out with the most. One is education. The other one is youth empowerment. The other one is homelessness. And the last one is veteran affairs. Those are my 4 core project foundations for each program that we do, because those are the things I feel like it's most needed in this country right now. So youth empowerment, education, homelessness, and veteran affairs. Those are the 4 that I focus on the most.
The homeless one is one that's been there was a time in my life where I literally didn't have a home. I live in San Diego now, right? But I was born in LA, and my parents wanted us to get out of the LA gang area, because when I was growing up, man, it mattered like what colors you wore and what stuff was going on in the streets, right? So they wanted to get us out of there. They brought us to San Diego, and like within a few months of us getting here, the job that my dad came for, like the company went under and he didn't have no job. And so we didn't have no place to live. Luckily, we had family back in LA. They shipped us, the kids, back to home. And then they kind of just, dug their roots and planted their feet here in San Diego. Right. And just in that little story, there are people who can help. We had family that was close by. There are people out there who are going through similar situations that have no one. Yeah. Right? There's no one they can fall back on. I mean, that's the kind of situation that you're talking about when you're talking about some of these communities where people have no one.
Yep, definitely. When people think of homelessness, they always think about people who choose to live on the streets. But actually, there's a lot of younger people now that are becoming homelessness. They got a lot of kids who are in group homes, and at the age of 18, they phase out of the system, so they're forced to live on their own. They don't have no families. They don't have nowhere to go. So a lot of them are living in shelters. A lot of them are living on the streets. And there's also, like you said, there's a lot of people, most people in this country, they're living paycheck to paycheck. Let's be honest. You know, like most people in this country, they ain't nobody rich. A lot of people, most people ain't rich. So you live in paycheck to paycheck. You know, anything can happen. You could lose your job. Somebody in your family gets sick. Things happen, and you don't know how quickly you could become homeless, especially if you don't have a support system, if you don't have family around. So that's a real problem right there. That's why organizations like us, we trying to help that out and stop it before it gets to further impact.
All right, so let's talk about that.
What do you do?
What exactly do you do?
So I run a nonprofit. It's called the Cooperative Opportunity Project. And what we do is we go into underserved communities, but we do things a little bit differently. First thing we do is we meet with community leaders because each community has a different need. After that, we think about a think outside the box project or program that's going to directly impact that community. So the things that we do that is, and we always tie a small business with each project that we do, because I believe that small businesses are important for each community to grow. And then we after that, we make sure that the program is ran thoroughly from the beginning to the end. And then after that, the program is a success and we see the transformation happen. So that's the basis of what we do.
That's a beautiful thing, the way you have it set up. By the way, Joe says, I've got no one. And Joe, you got a lot of people, man. I mean, you've been helping people for so many years. You're right, though. I mean, maybe he's got no immediate family to fall back on, right? But you have to build those new relationships. Let's talk about, your organization and what you're doing. I like the fact that you're embedding a small business that's already in the community. Like, what's your thought process behind that? Like, that's by design. Why do it that way?
Well, when you think about it, right? Like right now we're doing a virtual after school program and it's designed to teach kids in the community stuff that's not taught in school or sometimes not at home. Like we teaching kids financial literacy, stocks 101. We got an entrepreneurship class. We got a media arts class. We got coding, graphic design, and we got 13 classes all in all. But the importance of it is we're also hiring people who actually professionals in those courses. Like for the graphic design program, we actually have a graphic designer who's teaching the course. And the purpose of that is, number one, we're helping a small business. Number two, the kids are not looking at somebody who looks like a teacher. They actually looking at somebody who actually wants to that's doing something that they want to do. So they get a different experience instead of just having a teacher teaching them the basics of graphic design. They actually have someone who's teaching them, the ups and the downs or different techniques that they learn. So it's more of a learning experience more than just going to class or taking a class. And that's one of the ways we tie small businesses into one of our projects.
Yeah, man, dude, that's awesome. I feel like that's something that's lost. Like I teach, right? I literally teach at a regular high school. And I feel like a lot of what is taught in school is irrelevant in real life. It's great information, right? And there's some good stuff and we should definitely learn a bit of it. But I feel like what we're lacking is, where do we apply this in my life? How is this going to get me to that next thing that I'm trying to get to? Knowledge, I mean, today, especially if I want to know something, I'll Google it real quick, right? I'll get the answer that I'm looking for. But being immersed with a mentor, somebody who's doing what I want to do, that speaks the same language, has the same passions, that's totally different, dude. That sets you leaps and bounds. You don't fight with the kid to do the homework. The kid's anxious to do the work because it ain't work for him. It's fun. Like the kid's learning some stuff. Exactly. So, when you see these kids in communities that need that extra support, that extra help, what problem are you solving? How do you come in and solve that for them?
Hey, we've got a problem here.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, first thing that we do is create opportunity. Opportunity is something that everybody needs. If you have I come from a place where opportunity didn't come around a lot. And when it did come around, sometimes you didn't even know how to manage it or to take advantage of it because it was something new to you. So that's one of the things that we try to focus on. The second part of it is kids or younger people, they like to see people who look like them doing different things. Then it becomes real. It's not like I see somebody on TV. If you see somebody who looks like you, comes from the same area, have tattoos, different things, it resonates with them more, and they actually feel like, wow, that's something I can do and I can achieve. So creating an opportunity is one of the most important things, as well as combining it with somebody who looks real to them in a real space in real time.
Dude, creating opportunity, I think for in my experience with youth anyways, it's not even creating, it's identifying, right? Like what is an opportunity? Like where do you see something where one person sees a problem, another person sees a potential for a business? Where does somebody see, there's an altercation or a conflict and somebody's coming in with a resolution, right? Like how do you spot an opportunity when you were just raised to be cautious and make it to tomorrow?
Yeah, it's true. When I was younger, I worked in Manhattan in a big office building, and there was a guy in there. He offered me a real opportunity because I used to draw graffiti, and he offered me he caught me drawing graffiti in the elevator shaft, and I thought he was gonna fire me. But what he did when I came back on Monday, he said, "I saw what you're doing. I should fire you, but I see that you got a little bit of talent, so I could pay your way to college, and you could take up graphic design, and you could come back and work for the company. I could arrange that." But me being young, 16 and a knucklehead, I didn't take advantage of it. When I came home, I talked to my friends and was like, computers ain't gonna be nothing like that. And now look at where the world is right now. And actually, I teach a I have somebody teaching a graphic design class. But the point I'm trying to make is that sometimes when you're young or you're in a certain environment, you don't understand how good of an opportunity is. And that's why you need a mentor or you need somebody to help guide you and tell you like, this is good. You should really jump on it. So that's what we try to do. We try to be the middleman between opportunity and the people.
What was that? I remember hearing saying like, in your 20s, you thought you knew it all. In your 30s, you figured out you don't know quite everything that you thought you knew. You get to your 40s and 50s, you're like, man, I didn't know a damn thing. I'm still trying to figure it out right now. I mean, that's how I feel like, when you explain that, dude, I remember my very first business was a computer repair company. And my very first employee, his name was Chuck, and he's awesome on computers, great photographer, right? And so I hired him to help me fix computers. This is back in the Windows XP, Windows 98 days. And remember he came to me and he's like, hey, dude, we should advertise on Google. And I was looking at him like, what? And he goes, yeah, man, like literally you just put an ad and people will click on it. And then you only get charged when they click on it. And my answer to him was similar to yours. I was like, bro, if their computer's broken, how are they going to Google me? Like, that's not going to work. That's why we got to put our money into the yellow pages, bro. That's how long ago it was, man. Like, but the lesson learned, right? The lessons learned, you can pass that on to that next generation, right?
Yeah. It's like a story like that's real to them. Like, it's not like, see, you learned that from experience. It's one thing to teach a class, like, the best way to do is market something on Google. Anybody could do that. But see that story that you told, that connects to some of them, and they could be like, "Oh, I get it," because that's something real that you went through. And a lot of these kids, they going through real life situations. So when you combine that with a real teacher or a real person, everything works out.
All of a sudden, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So in any business, getting that ideal client or getting people to work with you is always the most difficult task at first. And then, of course, it gets easier and easier as you build your brand. So who are you looking for right now? What's your ideal, like you're on the hunt, you're looking for who?
I am looking for qualities beyond the physical.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm looking for is I'm looking for donors. That's number one. Like, because in order to make an impact, let's be real, you need funding. And I'm also looking for people that want to be a part of something new, because the way I run my nonprofits is not like a traditional nonprofit. And I feel like the younger generation, they want to give back and they want to do more in their community, but they want to see it done a different way. So some of the people I'm looking for is new donors, millennials, or people, even older people who want to actually do something that's different, like, teach kids a different way, or a new solution to homelessness, or different projects that you want to see implemented in the country or in the community. That's what I'm looking for. Anybody who's serious about giving back, or people who got skill sets that want to be, if you're good at marketing, or you're good at fundraising, or you're good at You doing shows like this, anything that can help out. That's the type of people I'm looking for.
Dude, so tell me a little bit about the Co-op Project. Like, what is that organization like? Are you putting together multiple projects and running different things within that umbrella? Or are you helping, co-op and partner with other nonprofits? How does it work?
All right. The beauty about the Co-op Project is this. Number one, you know how most nonprofits, they focus on one thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. They focus on one thing. We focus on 4 things, but that's the foundation of it. But suppose you was only passionate about education, right? And that's what you wanted to donate your money to, education. We create projects that we create different projects. So we create a project based around education. So instead of you funding the whole nonprofit, you can actually fund that one project, that one program. So I'll give you an example. If we right now we're doing a virtual after school program, and we have 275 kids. We have from 15 different states, all the way from New York, the Eastern Seaboard, Louisiana, Texas, all the way to Minnesota and Nebraska, right?
Wow.
And it's all virtual. Like I said, we're teaching kids something that's different in school. If you wanted to fund that one program or that one project, you could access, and we'll send you a PDF with everything what that program costs. So it's not like you're going to be paying additional graphic designer fees for the whole year and everything like that. You see where your money is going. It's actually, so if you want, if the program costs $57,000, that's where your money's going. It'll be all outlined. It costs for the instructors this. It costs for the marketing. Everything is all outlined, so you could just fund that one program. And the beauty of what we do, we don't have no problem collaborating with other people as well too, because we just want to see the work get done. We don't have no problem collaborating with other nonprofits. We're not based in one place. The program we're doing right now is nationwide. We don't even have problems going to other cities and setting up programs within the thing. So if you live in Chicago and you have a lot of pull, or you have somebody who have a lot of funding, or you have an idea that you really want to do, but you're not a nonprofit, you can always contact us and we could put it together and chop it up, and then we could build something together and do it. So that's how we kind of do. It's kind of a new way to look at a nonprofit.
Yeah. It's almost like a GoFundMe type thing, but on the nonprofit side, you're literally selecting. You're like, you know what? Not the Girl Scouts, not Goodwill, not this, but within one nonprofit, right? So in this nonprofit, you have those 4 phases you talked about: it, education, youth, veterans, and homeless, right? So you can go into any of these, and then in those sections, look at the different projects that you have going on. Find one that you're like, ooh, that's kind of cool. This is where I want to place my money, and then literally go through that, right? So
Exactly.
Okay, so if people want to get involved, what's that process like? There you go.
I love those intros, man. I love those intros. First of all, you can always contact us. Our email is right on our contact section is right there. I answer all my emails promptly. Other way that you could do it is you could donate. Those are the 2 simplest ways to do. If you email us and it's something that you want to get done, I could set up a time, set up a meeting, and we could talk about different ways we could help. Either you can help us, or we can help something that you want to put together. So those are the 2 easiest way to do. The donate button we got a big donate button on the front of the homepage, as well as a whole section dedicated to that. But those are the 2 ways that you do that. Like, we have a project that we want to launch is a veteran project. It's called a Brother Sean Project, and that's we're trying to do a virtual counseling for veterans, because we know in certain communities mental health is something that's not talked about. So we're trying to bridge the gap between helping people who suffer from PTSD, or different things that they got from the war, and they don't know how to express themselves. And we're trying to make it easier for them, instead of actually trying to go to the VA and get a counseling. People that's not used to mental health, they look for any excuse not to take it. But if we make it more accessible, where they could just pick up their phone in private, and they could just on the other line have a counselor and help them out through their situations, that's something that we're trying to do. So that's kind of the basis of how you can help. and one of the things that you can help with.
See, that to me, that's beautiful. Like that's probably one of my favorite things of being an educator, getting in front of people, talking to people, helping them, advising them, being that mentor, like to watch them from where they were to what they've become, right? Like the struggles that they were going through, the hand they were dealt for that life. And then they go through our programs or they go through a situation, whatever it is, and you're able to help them. You get to see them become something different. You got any stories like that, like tugged at your heartstrings where you were like, damn, I don't know what I'm going to do for this guy. And all of a sudden, like, fast forward and he's doing phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely. I did a program in Southeast DC, and it was an entrepreneur program. So I used my own money. This is before I even had a nonprofit, but I used my own money to, I wanted to do a summer camp, but I wanted to do a summer camp differently. And I wanted to teach kids about money. I wanted to teach kids how to make their own money. So I Googled how to write a curriculum, and I found the school through a friend of mine, and I pitched the idea to the principal. He loved it. So then I put some things around the school, and I had a bunch of kids show up for the program. It was a 6-week program. We met 3 days a week, and I always had guest speakers to come and talk to the kids. I took them to sneaker stores, had real estate people come talk to them, different things. And in the beginning of the class, there was one kid, he was real, like real hesitant. He didn't really want to get involved. He was a little bit younger, and he thought, he was sitting down there, and I was like, "Why are you looking like that?" He was like, "Well, my mother put me in here. This is not what I want to do." And it's the summertime, so I'm like, "All right, this ain't no problem." A couple of other kids was older, so he was the youngest one. So as the progression of the class came down, I just started seeing a change in him. He would ask a little bit more questions. He would, when we do something, he would be the one of the people that always volunteered. And towards the end, he was a whole nother person because number one, he was younger. Number two, he was never experiencing something like that. And then not only was I teaching them, I was also trying to be a mentor to them because they would talk to me about real stuff. And I could relate with a lot of the things that was going on, especially in their community, because at that time, there was a lot of shootings and there was different things going on. But at the end of the program, when it was over, he was like, "Dag, it's over already?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, today the last day." And you could tell the look on his face. He was a little disappointed. But I told him, I said, "Listen, you talk to your moms. You tell her if she don't mind, anytime you want a mentor, you want to call me, got any questions, I'll always pick up the phone and I'll help you out." And at the end of that program, the kids actually started their own business.
Nice.
They started an online T-shirt company, and every month I would drive to the school. I would show them how much money they made on the computer, and I would divvy out their money, and they each got equal shares. And he liked that a lot. He liked it so much that years later, when I started my virtual after school program, he's one of the first kids that signed up.
See, and that's amazing, dude. Like, my class, I have 2 classes, right? One's a freshman class, one's a senior class. The senior class, these are the kids that weren't doing good in high school math, right? Like this is their last effort to get a math credit before they either graduate or not, right? And so you can imagine these kids aren't the kids the type of kids that did homework.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel so passionate about you need to understand this topic that I designed the class so that I'm not really assigning homework. It's very conversational. I want you to ask questions because at the end of the day, they're still 16, 17 years old. A lot of the material that we're talking about, they have zero experience. It's just another problem in a book for them, right? Another problem on a piece of paper. But at the very least, they are going to have heard it. They know what the definition of these words are. They can speak that language. So when they're presented with similar situations, it's not the first time they're seeing it. I end the class playing Cash Flow. The last couple of weeks of school, we play Cash Flow, the board game, just so they can kind of encompass everything. And like, look, dude, literally take this game. You continue to play it, but with your own money in real life, and you will be okay.
Yeah. And that's important because number one, you're doing a lot of great things. Number one, you're a teacher. You know how hard it is to be a teacher? And you math. Like math was not my favorite course, but I commend you on that alone. But you actually showing kids a real way how to understand something. And on top of that, you're not just, some teachers could be very important. Either they could be very they could be bad for you if they don't really show you no interest and they don't teach you the right things. But if they do, they could be very impactful. So you showing kids real life ways how to look at life. I mean, how to look at math in a different way. Instead of just giving them homework and giving them sheets, you're actually teaching them, which is a beautiful thing, and you actually doing it a way that they understand because of their age range and their group and their life and their experiences. So that's what you're doing is exactly what you should come and teach one of our courses, because
Right? Have some fun with that.
Because people like you, that's the people I'm trying to do, because kids get a better result from it because you're a real person doing real great things.
It's the life that we've chosen to lead, right? I mean, I have this conversation with my brother a lot, like, the stepping from the employee side to the self-employment side or to the business owner side. That is a scary leap, man. Like you go from security to you don't know what's going to happen, but you also have a no cap above you, right? On the employee side, you're capped, you're limited to whatever you're going to earn. Whereas on the entrepreneurial side, dude, the sky's the limit. It's completely up to you. But I always like to relate it to like Monopoly, right? Like I got Monopoly up there. And I always tell people the first time you played Monopoly, man, you sucked. You didn't know what the hell you're doing. But the second time, that's when you had an opportunity to win. The only difference is you knew the rules to the game the second time, so you can play it a little bit different. And that's how I think of financial literacy. You're learning the rules to the game. It's up to you how you're going to play the game, but at least you know the rules and you can use them in your favor. So Gary, if people want to get involved, and I know you said it before, but I want to make sure we do it again. How do people get a hold of you?
Say hello to my little friend.
There you go.
Scarface was my joint too. What you do is you could go on the website or you could email me. You could contact us directly on the website. It goes directly to my email, or you can email me at Gary@thecoopproject.org. That you see right there, but just put the Gary in the at it, and I'll definitely hit you right back. And we can take it from there. That's the easy way. Oh, and we on Instagram. You can hit me up on Instagram. We on Twitter, and we on Facebook as well too.
Same handle for all of them?
Yep. You got it right there. Follow IG at the Co-op Projects. You got the S at the one on Instagram, and then the Twitter is the Co-op Project.
Sweet, man. And you did your graphic design, huh? Like the logo that you're wearing right there. Like you do all your own graphic design, all your own ad material, right?
Yeah, because I used to make t-shirts since like '98. I was making t-shirts. So
screen printing, huh?
Yeah, screen printing. I learned, but I had to learn. That's one of the things I had to learn all of it by myself. It's not like I had someone to teach me and guide me. I had to make the mistakes, lose money, buy a machine, own a store, downsize, different things. But that's why I try to incorporate it in the class. So I learned how to.
Hey, there was no Google. There was no Google back in '98. That didn't work.
And when you tell kids stuff like that, they look at you like crazy. Like I remember there was no internet. Like there was no internet. There was nothing. So my first t-shirt design, I had to go to the library and actually rip a page out of a book and kind of like steal it and put it and take it home and bring it to the silk screen designer and be like, I want to put this picture on the shirt. And that was my first shirt I've ever made.
Yep. And then he had to burn the image onto the screen so you could put it on there. And if you had multiple colors, that's a whole different ball game, dude. Yeah, I remember that game. That was tough, dude. That ain't no joke. But you figured it out, right? And that's the key here. It's something you were passionate about, and it didn't matter what you had to learn. You learned it. Like nothing was going to get in your way. And I feel like that's what your organization is doing, which reminds me.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Ladies and gentlemen, look, I get it. There are things going on in the world right now, and you feel like there's something that you can do to give back. And you have an opportunity to do that right here at home. There are so many projects that are being funded right now by the coopproject.org that you can get involved in a number of different things, 4 different content areas: education, youth, veterans, and homelessness. It's completely up to you. Pick the project that you want to work on and either donate time, donate your efforts, or just donate some cash so they can continue to fund these projects. Go to thecoopproject.org, thecoopproject.org, and there is a hyphen between co and op. So thecoopproject.org, head over there, fund a project, become part of the community. All right, Gary, what do you think, man? My last little thing that I always do, because it's important for us, the way we grow is through video testimonials, try to capture the excitement of a good experience. What was your experience like on the Business Bros?
Honestly, this is one of the best things I ever done right now. I like the energy, I like the professionalism. The host was on point. This is a really good opportunity. I suggest everybody really join and want to be a guest on this show right here. It was really a great opportunity and great energy. I appreciate it.
Man, I had you smiling the whole time. That was the key. All right, dude, you are in graphic design, you're in marketing, you do all those things. What was, give me some criteria. What was my marketing like? Everything from booking a spot on the show to being notified and now being on the show.
I'm gonna be honest with you, for real. Since the first time you contacted me, everything was real professional. Some people, they have like a janky email, but yeah, your logo, everything that was inside of it. You emailed me yesterday and told me, these are the things that we're gonna need. It was very professional. Even your studio itself, like I see the Ink magazine in the back with Gary V. You got the Monopoly thing in it. Your lighting, your sound, everything was really professional. Top tier, man. What can I say?
Woo! Setting the bar, man. Always trying to improve. If it can be measured, it can be improved. All right, Gary, thank you very much for coming on the show. Ladies and gents, one more time, the website, if you feel like donating, if you got some project that you think you can be a great part of, thecoopproject.org, thecoopproject.org. Gary, thanks a lot for coming on the show. Ladies and gents, we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace, and we're out.
Thanks for watching The Business Bros. If you're ready to get more clients and want to work with The Business Bro, visit our website, www.businessbros.biz, and click on the Need More Customers button, or learn how to generate more referrals with our video testimonial packages. Go to www.businessbros.biz and start